The men's national basketball team of the Philippines represents the country in international basketball competitions. It is managed by the Samahang Basketbol ng Pilipinas. The team won a bronze medal in the 1954 FIBA World Championship for men, the best finish by any team outside the Americas and Europe, and a fifth-place finish in the 1936 Summer Olympics, the best finish by any team outside the Americas, Europe and Oceania. The Philippines has the most wins in the Olympics among teams outside the Americas, Europe and Oceania. Aside from the bronze medal at the World Championships and the fifth-place Olympic finish, the Philippines has won 5 FIBA Asian Championships for men, 4 Asian Games men's basketball gold medals and a consistent winner at the Southeast Asian Games and at the Southeast Asia Basketball Association. The country has also participated in 4 FIBA World Cups and 7 Olympic basketball tournaments. Gilas Pilipinas serves as the current national team since 2010. History: Early years, the Philippines first participated in international basketball in the Far Eastern Championship Games from 1913 to 1934, winning all but one championship. The games were not under the supervision of FIBA at that time. The Basketball Association of the Philippines was founded in 1936, and became a part of FIBA later that year. Also in the same year, the BAP sent a team nicknamed the Islanders that participated in the first Olympic basketball tournament in Berlin. With the tournament under a single elimination round format from the third game onwards, the Philippines won their first 3 games only to face the United States in their fourth game. The USA doubled the Philippines' score as they advanced to the next round, and subsequently win the gold medal undefeated. The Philippines wound up 5th place, winning the rest of their games, in the best finish by an Asian team in Olympic basketball history. Aside from silver medalists Canada, the Philippines was the only other team that only had 1 loss in the tournament. The Philippines returned to the 1948 Olympics in London. The team finished 4th of 6 teams in their group to be eliminated. The team wound up in 10th place. In the 1950s and 1960s, the Philippines was among the best in the world, producing world-class players like Carlos Louise Ager, Laura Mariano Tolentino, Francisco Rabat and Edgardo Ocampo. In 1951, team won the inaugural Asian Games basketball tournament in New Delhi, India. The team finished ahead of Japan and 4 other teams to win the gold medal. On the next Asian Games in 1954 in Manila that served as a qualifiers for the World Championship later that year, the team finished first anew, beating out the Republic of China, Japan and South Korea in the final round. In 1954 FIBA World Championship in Brazil, Louise Ager was a part of the mythical team's selection, where the Philippines won the bronze medal. The Philippines finished second in their group behind Brazil and ahead of Paraguay to enter the final round, where the team lost against the USA by only 13 points. Only the loss against the USA and 2 losses against Brazil were the Philippines' only losses in the World Championship to date. The Philippines' performance remains the best performance by an Asian team in the World Championship. In the 1956 Olympics, the Philippines finished 7th. The team qualified to the quarterfinals, with only loss against the USA. However, the team lost all of their games against France, Uruguay and Chile in the quarterfinals. The Philippines defeated Chile in the 7th-place game to finish with a 4-4 record. 2 years later, in the 1958 Asian Games in Tokyo, the Philippines won its 3rd consecutive gold medal, finishing first in the final round. The Philippines was grouped with Bulgaria, Puerto Rico and Uruguay in the 1959 FIBA World Championship. The team finished 3rd, losing against Bulgaria and Puerto Rico, to crash out of the final round. The Philippines won all of the games in the classification round against the United Arab Republic and Canada to meet Uruguay for the 8th-place game. The team defeated Uruguay again to finish 8th. This would be the last tournament of Louise Ager and company. Birth of the Asian Championships. Starting in 1960, the Asian Basketball Championship was held to determine Asia's participants in the Olympics and the World Championships. Qualifying for the Asian Championship was by subzone, or by the ranking in the most recent tournament. In this case, with the Philippines being the strongest team in Southeast Asia, the country will qualify easily for the Continental Championship, even if they failed to qualify via rankings from the previous tournament. The inaugural Asian Championship was held in Manila. With an Asian Championship, the Philippines qualified for the 1960 Olympics. In Rome, the Philippines did not qualify for the medal round, but did beat Spain in the preliminaries, ultimately finishing 11th out of 16 nations. The country was supposed to host the 1963 World Championship, but President Diosdado Macapagal refused to allow players from Yugoslavia and other communist countries to enter the country. This caused the Philippines, despite winning the Asian Championships, to qualify via a pre-Olympic tournament, in which they were unsuccessful. In the fifth championship at Bangkok, the Philippines finished third, after a 1-point loss against Japan, and an 86-95 loss against Korea. Creation of the Philippine Basketball Association, in 1975, after disputes with the Basketball Association of the Philippines, 9 teams pulled out of BAP's jurisdiction and founded the Professional Philippine Basketball Association, taking along all the best players with them. This caused the BAP to send weakened teams in the subsequent international tournaments, as professionals are not allowed to play. The Filipinos to fail to defend their Asian Championship in 1975, with India earning a shock blowout win to deny the Philippines a top 4 finish. The Chinese won the championship, beginning their unbeaten championship run that will last into 1983. The Nationals were denied of a top 4 finish in the 1977 Asian Championship, losing this time to Malaysia. The Philippines then hosted the 1978 FIBA World Championship, losing all of the games via blowouts to finish last in the final round. The NCC program, to offset the loss of players to the PBA, the BAP delegated to businessman Eduardo Cajunco, Jr. the formation of a team that will train together for several months, in essence, a club team unaffiliated with any league. The result was the Northern Cement basketball team coached by the American Ron Jacobs that had 4 naturalized players. In the 1982 Asian Games in New Delhi, the team finished 4th behind Korea, China and Japan. In the 1983 Asian Championship in Hong Kong, the Philippines forfeited their preliminary round games after a misunderstanding in the rules that caused the Philippines to play more than one naturalized player on the floor at the time. The Philippines, without their naturalized players, made short work of the classification round to finish in 9th place. The Northern Cement team did win the 1985 Asian Championship in Kuala Lumpur, to qualify for the 1986 FIBA World Championship in Spain. On February 22, 1986, the People Power Revolution erupted and forced President Ferdinand Marcos into exile. Cajunco, a known ally of Marcos, also left the country, causing the team not to participate in the World Championship. The team did participate in the 1986 Asian Games, finishing 3rd behind China and Korea. Professional era: in 1989, FIBA allowed professionals to play in their tournaments. This caused the BAP to have an agreement with the PBA in which the latter will form national teams for the Asian Games, while the former will do so in other tournaments. In the 1989 Southeast Asian Games, the BAP-sponsored team suffered a shock loss to Malaysia in the gold medal game, the only time the Philippines failed to win the gold medal at the Southeast Asian Games in which basketball was played. In 1990, the Philippines sent an all-pro national team, coached by Robert Jaworski, to regain the country's basketball supremacy in the Asian Games, but the team lost in the final against China and settled for a silver medal. The team includes 1990 PBA Most Valuable Player Alan Koidik and Samboy Lim, who were both selected in the Asian Games Mythical 5 selections. In the 1991 Asian Championship in Kobe, Japan, the Philippines finished 2nd in their preliminary round group behind China, but a loss against Japan caused their elimination, ending up in 7th place, when Jordan forfeited the game. In 1993, the Philippines failed to qualify in the quarter-final groups, suffering losses against Korea and the UAE en route to an 11th place finish. In the 1994 Asian Games in Hiroshima, the Philippines, coached by the American Norman Black, sent in a team composed of PBA players and selected amateurs. The team finished second in the preliminary round, losing to Korea. The loss to Korea meant that the Philippines has to face China. Despite losing, the Chinese had their slimmest winning margin in the tournament with 9 points, en route to their gold medal. The Philippines were upended by the hosts Japan in the bronze medal game, losing by 3 points in overtime. With no PBA players on the roster, the team on the 1995 Asian Championship in Seoul finished last in the preliminary round, but managed to win 2 games in the classification round to finish 12th out of 19 teams. The team that went to Riyadh for the ABC Championship 1997 did only marginally better. They still finished last in the preliminary round but topped the classification round group en route to a 9th place finish. In 1998, the PBA formed the Philippine Centennial team coached by the American Tim Cone that captured the 21st William Jones Cup Championship but finished with a bronze medal in the 1998 Asian Games held in Bangkok. The Filipinos faced their old nemesis Korea in the quarter-finals and were blown out by 20 points, which lead them to face China in the semi-finals anew. The result would be the same as 4 years earlier, with the Chinese winning by 9. The Filipinos won the bronze medal game though, against Kazakhstan. In the 1999 Asian Championship in Fukuoka, Japan, the Philippines, with no PBA players on their roster, finished last in the preliminary round, and second in the classification round to finish 11th out of 15 teams. In Shanghai for the 2001 Asian Championship, the Philippines was suspended by FIBA due to leadership disputes at the BAP. This caused the country to miss their first Asian Championship. By 2002, a compromise was sorted out, and the Philippines was allowed to participate in the 2002 Asian Games, coached by Jong Wichiko. In Busan, South Korea, the Philippines easily qualified for the quarterfinals, in which they are grouped with China, Japan and Chinese Taipei. The Philippines won by 5 points against Japan, and 14 points against Chinese Taipei. The game against China wasn't as close, with the Philippines losing by 41 points, but this assured that they won't have to face China in the semi-finals. For the third consecutive time, the Filipinos and Koreans faced in the semi-finals, with the same result, the Koreans won over the Philippines, this time by 1 point. Up by 2 points, Olsen Raislam missed 2 free throws, that led to a Korean three-pointer at the buzzer to eliminate the Filipinos. The team would lose in the bronze medal game against Kazakhstan by 2 points as Korea defeated China in overtime by a basket to win Asian Games gold for the first time since 1970. With no PBA players in the roster, the 2003 Asian Championship in Harbin will be the worst performance by the team in history, a 15th place finish out of 16 teams. Unlike in 1997 and 1999, the Philippines had 1 win in the preliminary round. However, in the classification round, the Philippines emerged winless in a group containing Syria, Kuwait and Hong Kong. Only a blowout win against Malaysia saved the Philippines from dropping to the cellar. After the championship, BAP was heavily criticized and took steps to strengthen the team. However, after a loss against the Para ±8 Jets, a team composed of politicians, actors and amateurs, by the BAP-managed team, another leadership crisis in the BAP ensued which caused another suspension from FIBA. As a result, the Philippines was not able to participate in the FIBA Asia Championship 2005 and the 2006 Asian Games. SBP era, Team Pilipinas, after the conclusion of the leadership struggle that saw the Samahang Basketbol NG Pilipinas, an organization backed by the PBA among others, being recognized by both FIBA and the Philippine Olympic Committee, the Philippines was reinstated by FIBA. San Miguel Team Pilipinas was hastily assembled for the 2007 FIBA Asia Championship in Tokushima. The team defeated China, which didn't send its best team since they already qualified for the 2008 Olympics, but lost to Iran and Jordan to bow out of contention. The Filipinos and Chinese met again for the 9th place game in which the Filipinos won by 2 points. The Philippines qualified for the 2009 FIBA Asia Championship in Tianjin. the Philippines advanced to the quarterfinals to meet Jordan. The Jordanians raced to any early lead where the Filipinos never recovered to win the game. The Philippines and the Koreans played for 7th place, which saw the Koreans winning by 2 points. Gilas Pilipinas, following the Northern Cement model of the 1980, the SBP established the Smart Gilas Pilipinas program, backed by SBP President Manuel V. Pangilinan, as a developmental team that aims to qualify in the 2012 Olympics. In the 2010 Asian Games, the Filipinos met the Korean team anew in the quarterfinals and was eliminated. In the 2011 championship at Wuhan, the SBP successfully petitioned the naturalization of Marcus Douthit. The team progressed up to the semi-finals for the first time since 1987. Meeting Jordan, the team lost, never recovering after a third-quarter run by the Jordanians. In the bronze medal game against Korea with a berth to an Olympic qualifying tournament at stake, the team raced to an early lead, but the Koreans cut the lead and eventually won the game after the Filipinos missed free throws at the end game. Despite missing an Olympic berth, Smart Gilas' performance was the best finish in the championship since 1987, and the best finish in any major Asian competition since 2002. After failing to qualify for the Olympics, the SBP decided to form the next edition of Smart Gilas Pilipinas team composed of PBA players. The Smart Gilas Pilipinas program was renamed Gilas Pilipinas in 2013, still sponsored by Smart Communications. After FIBA Asia decided to transfer hosting duties of the 2013 FIBA Asia Championship to the Philippines from Lebanon, the SBP decided to hold most of the games at the newly constructed Mall of Asia Arena. After losing to Chinese Taipei in the last game of the preliminary round to finish second, the team won 4 consecutive games to set up a semi-final against the Koreans. In a close game, the Philippines pulled away late in the game to win 86-79. The win sent the team to the finals and guaranteed qualification to the FIBA Basketball World Cup for the first time since 1978. The Philippines, appearing in the first FIBA Asia Championship final since the introduction of a championship game in 1987, lost by 14 points against undefeated Iran in the final to settle for a silver medal. The Congress of the Philippines naturalized Andre Bloch in time for the 2014 FIBA Basketball World Cup to beef up its center position. With Bloch in tow, the Philippines nearly won 4 tightly fought games against higher-ranked teams of Croatia, Greece, Argentina and Puerto Rico, before winning in overtime against Senegal to record its first victory at the World Cup in 40 years. FIBA Suspensions, 1963. In 1963, FIBA suspended the Philippines for its failure to stage the 1963 FIBA World Championship after President Diosdado Macapagal refused to allow players from Yugoslavia and other communist countries to enter the country. Later, the Philippines, despite being the Asian champion, was forced to play in a pre-Olympic tournament in order to qualify in the 1964 Summer Olympics. 2001, the Basketball Association of the Philippines leadership crisis worsened after a lengthy feud between the group of Graham Lim and Tiny Littoral and the group of Freddie Jalisco and Lito Puat, which resulted in FIBA's suspension of the Basketball NSA. However, a few months after, FIBA stepped in and ordered an election that resulted in Littoral's victory as the president of the BAP. The suspension was quickly lifted and the Philippines was able to compete in the Southeast Asian Games in Malaysia. 2005 to 2007, the Philippines was suspended again by the International Basketball Federation on July 2005 after a long-standing feud between the Philippine Olympic Committee and the BAP. The story began on April 10, 2005, when the BAP-sponsored Cebuana Hillia Philippine national team lost to a lowly Pero +or-8 Jets team in an NBC preseason tournament at the Rizal Memorial Coliseum. After hearing the news, POC President Jose Pepeng Cajunco called for improvements on the national team, most notably, the sending of a new team made up of professionals from the Philippine Basketball Association. While both parties, with the involvement of the Philippine Basketball Association, the Philippine Basketball League, the UAAP and the NCAA, reportedly agreed on an agreement on the formation of a new national team, things soon returned to the usual verbal war. The POC, through a vote, first suspended, then in a later meeting, expelled the BAP as the official National Sports Association member and installed a new member in the Philippine Basketball Federation. The BAP, under new President Joey Luna, said that the expulsion was unconstitutional in the bylaws of the POC. In hopes of securing a long-term solution, FIBA, in a memorandum, ordered the PBA, PBL, WANAP, NCAA and Joey Luna to form a new constitution or a formation of a new basketball body. By March 2006, 4 stakeholders have signed into the proposed new basketball body, which later named as Pilipinas Basketball. Luna, however, has refused to sign on the memorandum, citing imbalanced factors that was put in the draft for a new body. After the 4 stakeholders met with Bowman in South Korea, the suspension was not even lifted nor was the draft for a new body was even accepted since Luna has not signed it. After several meetings between FIBA Secretary-General Patrick Bowman, PB, and BAP officials in Geneva and Bangkok, a unity congress was held in which BAP, PB and Bowman attended. The BAP and PB agreed to merge to create the Samahang Basketbol ng Pilipinas as the new national federation. The Philippine Olympic Committee recognized the group as the new national governing body for basketball, after which the FIBA finally lifted the almost 2-year-old suspension it imposed upon the country. Nickname: the first Olympic team that competed in 1936 was called the Islanders. After independence, the national team had no nickname. They were simply called RP5, or RP Team, with RP standing for Republic of the Philippines. With the sponsorship of Danding Kajunko, the team was called the Northern Cement Basketball Team or NCC. This team played in the 1983 and 1985 Asian Championships. With the departure of the Kajunko as sponsor, the team reverted to the RP5, or RP Team names. In the 1992 Asian Games, following from the US Dream Team, the team was called the Philippines Dream Team, as this was the first national team with PBA players. Starting in the 1990s, the team was called Team Philippines. This name was prevalent in the Asian Games teams composed mostly of PBA players. Eventually, all national teams from other sports were later to be called as Team Philippines. This was mostly used as name for the entire Philippine contingent in multi-sports events such as the Asian and Olympic Games. In 1998, during the 100th anniversary of Philippine independence, the team was called as the Philippine Centennial Team. After the acceptance of the SBP as the new basketball federation, the team was started to be called as Team Pilipinas, with Pilipinas being the Filipino translation of Philippines. From 2005 to 2007, the team was sponsored by San Miguel Corporation and named San Miguel Team Pilipinas. In 2009, the team was sponsored by Coca-Cola Bottlers Philippines, Incorporated and named Power Team Pilipinas. When PLDT took over sole sponsorship of the national team beginning in 2010, they used the Smart Communications to banner the developmental team that would be called Smart Healers. Healers is a Tagalog word that translates into English as elegance, or gallantry. This developmental team competed in the 2010 Asian Games, and competed as the national team, with additional players from the PBA, in the 2011 Asian Championship. For the 2013 tournament, the SBP dropped the Smart branding, thereby going with the Healers Pilipinas name. Uniform: the national colors of blue, white and red have been used in national team uniforms throughout history. Most teams used a blue uniform as the dark-colored uniform, and a white uniform for light-colored uniform. Red was occasionally used as a tertiary color. In the 2002 Asian Games, the dark-colored uniform was a red one. The SBP has consistently used the blue and white uniform as dark and light uniforms, respectively. Nike has been the official outfitter of the national team ever since the SBP took over. In the 2013 Asian Championship, the color white has been used to identify the team with the fans. If the uniform doesn't display a Philippine flag, it usually uses a distinct coat of arms, as seen above, distinct from the SBP logo, or the official coat of arms. Fixtures and results. Competitions, current roster, depth chart, coaches. Notable players, past and present, alphabetical order by surnames: Johnny O Barrientos, Philippine basketball's and Asia's best point guard of the 1990s. O Barrientos played for the Philippines in the 1991 Southeast Asian Games and the 1994 Asian Games. He was later selected to play for the Philippine Centennial team to represent the country in the 1998 Asian Games and the 21st William Jones Cup. O Barrientos was named Most Valuable Player in an exhibition game against the FIBA Asia All-Stars team led by compatriot Romuald Duquel. Alan Kordic, one of Asia's most feared three-point shooters and arguably one of the greatest players ever to play for the Philippines internationally. He is a four-time veteran of the Asian Games and a two-time William Jones Cup champion. Early in his career, Kordic played a major role for the Philippines in capturing the 1985 Southeast Asian Games and the 1985 Euro 1986 FIBA Asia Championship. In 1990, he and Samboy Lim were named at the Asian Games Mythical Five selection after leading the Philippines to a silver medal finished. In 1994, he was the Asian Games basketball tournament's leading scorer and was named, for the second time, to the All-Tournament Mythical Five selection. In 1998, he represented the country for the final time with the Philippine Centennial team. Robert Jaworski, the world's oldest professional basketball player and arguably the Philippines' most popular basketball player of all time. He represented the country in numerous international tournaments and is one of the last surviving Filipino basketball players to play in the FIBA World Championship and the Summer Olympics. Samboy Lim, he represented the Philippines in the 1982 Asian Youth Championship and in the 1985 Euro 1986 FIBA Asia Championship. He was later named alongside Alan Kordic into the 1990 Asian Games Mythical Five selection after leading the national team to the finals. Carlos Lois Ager, probably the greatest Filipino international basketball player of all time. He led the Philippines to 4 consecutive Asian Games gold medals and 3 Asian Championship titles. His biggest achievement was leading the country to a third-place finish and the bronze medal in the 1954 FIBA World Championship, the best finish by an Asian country in the history of the quadrennial tournament. He was later named into the All-Tournament Mythical Five selection after finishing third leading scorer of that year's tournament. In 1960, he and Carlos Badian were named at the Asian Basketball Confederation Mythical Five selection after leading the Philippines to the first ever Asian Championship crown. Ambrosio Padilha, one of the greatest Filipino basketball players of the pre-World War II era. He played for the Philippines in the Far Eastern Games before leading the country to a fifth-place finish in the 1936 Summer Olympics, the best finish by an Asian country in the history of the Summer Olympics men's basketball tournament. Louise Lou Salvador, one of the best offensive players in Philippine basketball history. Salvador played for the Philippines in several Far Eastern Games tournaments where, in 1923, he set an all-time record for the most points scored by a Filipino in a single international game with 116 points against China to lead the Philippines to the gold medal. That record remains unbroken to this day. Past rosters, note, Olympics, World Championships, Asian Games, Asian Championships only. Honors, World, FIBA Basketball World Cup, Bronze Medalists, 1954, MVF Best Country, 2014. Continental, FIBA Asia Championship, Gold Medalists, 1960, 1963, 1967, 1973, 1,985 Silver Medalists, 1965, 1971, 2013, Bronze Medalists, 1969. FIBA Asia Cup, Bronze Medalists, 2014. Asian Games, Gold Medalists, 1951, 1954, 1958, 1,962 Silver Medalists, 1990, Bronze Medalists, 1986, 1998. Far Eastern Championship Games, Gold Medalists, 1913, 1915, 1917, 1919, 1923, 1925, 1927, 1930, 1,934 silver medalists, 1921. Regional, Southeast Asian Championship, champions 1998. 1999, 2001, 2003, 2007, 2009 silver medalists, 1996. Southeast Asian Games, gold medalists, 1979, 1981, 1983, 1985, 1987, 1991, 1993, 1995, 1997, 1999, 2001, 2003, 2007, 2011, 2013 silver medalists, 1989. Other, William Jones Cup, gold medalists, 1981, 1985, 1998, 2012, bronze medalists, 2005, 2007, 2011. See also: Smart Healers, San Miguel Team, Pilipinas Basketball Team, Philippine Centennial Team, Northern Cement Basketball Team, Basketball in the Philippines, Samahang Basketbol ng Pilipinas, Philippine Basketball Association. References. External links: SBP official website, PBA official website, new PBA official website, Philippine Basketball Team news, roster profile updates, Philippine Olympic Committee website, FIBA profile, Smart Healers basketball news and updates, Team Pilipinas news update site.